inevitable and it has happened.
Historic, because
New Zealand have broken their India jinx. First win in India in a test match after 36 years.
36 years, 1988, and to give you how big this magnitude of the win is for New Zealand, in this entire squad, only one individual was born when New Zealand last won in India.
And let me guess, it was Ajaz Patel.
Yes. Ajaz Patel was only 2 months old when New Zealand had won in India, and many people do not remember what happened in that match. Richard Hadley took a 6-wicket haul. John Bracewell was the man of the match in that particular game at the Wankhede Stadium, and normally it takes 24 hours by train to go from Mumbai to Bengaluru, but for New Zealand it's taken them 36 years to win a test match in India. I mean, in 1995 when you looked at it, it was a 1-0 defeat. 1999 it was a 1-0 defeat. 2003 it was a 0-0 draw. Then after that it was a 2-0 loss, 2-0 loss, 3-0 loss. 1-0 in 2021 the last time. They somehow held out for a draw in Kanpur, and now New Zealand have won a test match in India after 36 long years. And to just give you the magnitude, Gulati was not born. I was 4 years old when New Zealand won against India. That's how massive it has been at this stage. So kudos to New Zealand. I mean, they just had to survive a very testing 40 minutes from Jasprit Bumrah, who bowled like a man possessed today.
He looked to be getting a wicket every delivery.
Yes, Latham was undone by the late swing coming back in. Devon Conway was done in by the late swing and the pace that Bumrah was bowling at. But New Zealand had to just understand, just survive 8-9 overs of a Bumrah spell. Later on, it will be easy pickings.
I think it really have to give credit to both Devon Conway and Will Young here. They played with very soft hands so as to make sure there weren't any edges that usually carried to the slip cordon or to the forward short leg region, and that's where I think Will Young also showed his experience by playing typical textbook cricket, old school cricket as we say.
Will Young, I mean, he was the guy who was also troubled but very least by Bumrah. But Conway and Latham, their lives were made hell there. I mean, I read a statistic that for a 9 over burst, they had drawn India's bowlers in that opening spell with Bumrah being the key leader of the pack. He had drawn a total of 22 false shots.
Yes.
22 false shots out of 53 deliveries. That was how hostile that opening spell was. But we all realized that yes, this was going to happen, because the new ball, when you had new spell coming up, only 4 balls were done on day 4. After that on day 5, you knew that for 13 to 14 overs, they would have had to withstand hell. And New Zealand withstood it, and credit to this new generation of New Zealand guys. I mean, look at it. There is a big comparison between the White Ferns and the Black Caps when you look at it. The Black Caps had not won a test match since February, had lost 2 on the trot versus Australia.
And 2 in Sri Lanka.
2 in Sri Lanka. They were absolutely outplayed in Sri Lanka by Prabhat Jayasuriya and Ramesh Mindis. But then they came to India, no one gave them a chance, and they have answered in the most emphatic way possible. Come to think about it, India last lost 2 home tests in 2012. But that was a series that they lost. Here they lost 1 test to England, now they lost 1 to New Zealand. First loss in Bengaluru when you look at it. Man, oh man. Last time, for people who want to be refreshed about it, India versus Pakistan 2005, when Yunus Khan and Inzamam ul Haq blunted Virender Sehwag's knock.
Double century.
And India froze on the final day, and they lost by a big margin to ensure they had drawn the series. New Zealand, and we will also highlight one more individual. You were not born in 1988, right, Harshit? No. So, I am the only guy to have been born pre-1988, and that was the last time New Zealand had won. None in the current squad had managed to see a New Zealand win at that time. Ajaz Patel was just 2 months old. That's how big the victory is, and India never ever, they kind of came back in the contest, but 2 collapses. 17 wickets for 54 runs.
That was yesterday.
That was 7 for 54. but 10 wickets for 46. First innings. There is a reason why teams have never won when you are all out for 46. We are all saying, oh, the miracle of Mumbai can be repeated into that. That was what the main trend was. India can do it. India can do it. Rohit Sharma can do no wrong. But already in this test match, he had 3 major tactical blunders, and we'll dwell on that one. I will highlight blunder number 1, the pitch.
Yep.
He misread the pitch totally. He just had to survive 1-2 hours. 1-2 hours was needed. From 46, they could have gone to 175 or 180. But Rohit Sharma's admission that yes, we misread the pitch, bad judgment, I am hurting, it was my fault. It opened the door.
That's what he said after the team got out for 46.
46.
Yes.
You know, I sort of disagree over there
Mm-hmm.
with the Indian captain. I think it was just bad batting.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with reading the pitch wrong. If
Yes.
you ask me, I've seen Rohit Sharma admit mistakes in the past as well. So to say that 1 hour or those 80 minutes, in fact it was less than 80 minutes if I recall correctly.
Yeah, you are right. 31 overs, 46.
If it was good batsmanship, you could have. Are you telling me that in cloudy conditions we cannot survive? Because that's the message that I get then. Were they all wicket taking deliveries? No, you look at the dismissal of a Rohit Sharma, you look at the dismissal of a KL Rahul, those were not wicket taking deliveries. You look at the dismissal of Ravindra Jadeja, those are soft dismissals. So will I entirely put it on the reading of the pitch and about an hour and 15 minutes of cloud cover? I'm sorry to say.
No.
That's not done.
See, I had the same talk with Gulati because he also was on the other end of the spectrum. He said that it was a bad decision. But then I said Rohit wanted to be proactive. His batting unit let him down, then that is not his fault. Then he trusted his batters to do well in those tough conditions. I mean, look at the pedigree that everybody has. Jaiswal, proven performer. Sarfaraz, proven performer. Kohli, proven performer. Pant, proven performer. Rahul has done well. Jadeja, Ashwin. Ashwin won you that match in Chennai.
Yes.
7 batters. 7 top-notch batters who can walk into any World 11 at any given point in time. And they got bundled out for 46. That's a collective, colossal batting failure. So that is why there is a reason why teams have never recovered after winning 46. The last time in the modern era when it happened, 67 England were dismissed for in the Ashes.
Ben Stokes heroics.
But even there in that chase of 360, they had lost 9 wickets on a day 5 pitch. So that is why coming back from that situation is next to impossible. If I look at it, Pakistan were bundled out for 99 in 2012 against England in Dubai. But they came back after that.
True.
But 46, you are never making it. Who wants to highlight blunder number 2?
I'll highlight that. I think New Zealand were 233 for 7 in their first innings, and that's when I think Rohit Sharma probably made a mistake by not giving an extended spell to both Bumrah and Siraj, who were actually breathing fire, specifically Bumrah there, because that was the time to wrap up New Zealand's innings. But then what the fans witnessed, I think it was another 171 runs being added, primarily because of the partnership that took place between Rachin Ravindra, who scored 100, and Tim Southee, who scored a very useful 65. So had New Zealand been bowled out for about 260 or 270, perhaps we would have had a different result in this match. But then 402, India definitely had a lot of catching up to do, and they did manage to, reach at 408 for 3 at one stage, but then a second collapse in 3 days was never going to help India's chances.
Harshad, blunder number 3.
Blunder number 3, I think again for me most blunders were made with the bat and not with the ball. The next blunder I see India making in this test match was what we saw yesterday. There was a platform given to you by Rishabh and Sarfaraz. After that you needed at least 150 run partnership. You couldn't stitch that and see what happened. From a time where just as Indian fans and observers of Indian cricket as we are from the outside, you thought that, yes, there's juice in this match now. There's a story here which none of us could really predict. And all you needed was about 50 runs. The commentators as well, you heard from them this morning that had this been about 160, 170, just in excess of 150 maybe psychologically, and given the wicket as well, look at the amount of turn that Jadeja was getting today. Look at the kind of speeds with which Jadeja and Ashwin both were bowling today. So clearly there was something in the pitch. If you'd given your spinners enough runs to play with, then see, an Ashwin coming to bowl with 100 runs left and with 10 runs left, and the team haven't touched the 100-run mark. Clearly, it told you it was a lost cause. So you're just giving him the ball because he was the unused bowler. However, if you had those extra 50-60 runs, things really would have changed, because those patches had become darker, the scruffier, and you could see a conscious attempt by Ravindra Jadeja to land the ball at the foot marks, which is from where you were getting unpredictable bounce and turn. So just imagine if you had another 50-60 runs, maybe an Ashwin would have had a greater role to play over here, because this is exactly these conditions that you had the third spinner as well, which you failed to utilize, and you failed to utilize that not because of the conditions, because you didn't have enough runs to play with. So all you needed was one partnership yesterday, and your lower order could not give you that, and this is where I think India erred again.
And if you look at it,
one more blunder.
Tim Saudi 65.
Yeah.
Our entire lower order from number 7 to 11, both innings combined, have just about touched half of Tim Saudi.
Yes.
That's it. Both innings. Look at the score. I mean, if I look at it 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 plus 15 is 20, 26, 0, 0. Go up, Shivam. So that's 26 runs. Okay. First innings of India.
Yeah.
0, 0, 2, 1, 4. Okay. So 7, 33. Just about half of Tim Saudi. India had no tail. New Zealand had a tail which wagged, and that partnership between Rachin Ravindra and Tim Saudi ensured that a lead of what could have been only 200 or 250. I mean, imagine India restricted in 250, 462, 200 plus target. New Zealand were way behind the game then. But 356 ensured that New Zealand chased down 107 with 8 wickets still intact. So New Zealand survived a testing spell, but they withstood that, and they are the deserved winners, because there is no begrudging New Zealand here. Written off, rank outsiders, no chance. We had all said that maybe India will win 3-0 here, but they have won after 36 years. Tom Latham joins Graham Dowling and another individual in maybe I think it was Bracewell who got them that win. So 3 individuals who given New Zealand victories in India.
This is, by the way, a New Zealand side which has a new captain and doesn't have a Kane Williamson yet.
Doesn't have a Kane Williamson, and Williamson might be back for Pune
for the second test match. That's right.
By the way, weather spoiler in Pune, it's not looking good there also. So if India get now already with this loss, India have lost 6 percentage points.
What do they say, Siddharth? What's that Megha saying in Hindi?
Barsore mega.
So that didn't happen in Bangalore when we needed it to happen.
It happened for 1 hour. That's why play started late today at 10:15. Had they stretched into the afternoon,
that's when you had the best chance.
You had the best chance. Thunderstorms are predicted from 2 onwards until 4.
How bad is Pune then?
Pune is also quite bad. There is persistent rain showers for 3 days at least. There is. Opening could happen, but it could be a stop-start kind of a day.
Okay.
But again, I say this with a pinch of salt, the weather can change.
Yes.
Because in Bengaluru, we saw third day, thunderstorms were predicted from 12, 1 and 2. Nothing happened. Yesterday was the only time the weather forecast was right.
Yeah.
It poured.
But that huge cloud that we saw, first delay play, slow play down, and then the moment the covers came on, my God,
the subsurface aeration did its bit. But unfortunately, it rained throughout yesterday night in Bengaluru. It did rain yesterday night.
Yes.
And today, that's why the start was delayed, because it was still drizzling. But then, as you know, within 20 minutes of rain stopping, the subsurface aeration system will do its work. And New Zealand survived that early testing spell. 14 overs. They had to survive 14 overs and lose 1 or 2 wickets. They did just that. Bumrah, cheat code, was bowling like a man possessed. 53 balls, I just mentioned that stat. 53 balls in that entire spell, 22 false shots, and most of it by Bumrah.
I think if we have to talk about another blunder, and I don't want to be harsh, sounding here, but this was one of the things that really turned out to be a game-changing moment, and it was Sarfaraz Khan playing that rash shot that actually triggered an India collapse. There was no need to play that shot at that particular point of time. New Zealand had taken the new ball. It would have made sense to just been at the crease for a few overs, and then probably he would have gone for his shots, but then...
But that's Sarfaraz, I think. You know, he touched the 150 mark. He just celebrated that personal milestone of his. And maybe the job was done. What about the pull shot then from Jadeja?
Which we had mentioned yesterday.
Exactly.
Which we had mentioned yesterday.
End of the bat over there.
Which we had mentioned yesterday, Harshit. Out of the 7 wickets in that collapse that happened, okay, let's start with Sarfaraz. Kind of shot, debatable. Was it on, was it not on? Pant got a good ball from
cramped for room.
Yes. But he got a good ball. Jadeja, bad shot. Rahul,
beautiful ball.
Very good ball.
Unplayable almost.
Ashwin, maybe poor technique, was a good ball.
Yeah.
Bumrah, good ball. Siraj, bad shot. I mean, there was a fielder placed.
So much you will hold against a Bumrah
and Siraj, yeah.
Siraj. My thing is, see again, I know Chennai is not going to happen again and again, like we saw last month. But both Jadeja and Ashwin having bad games, you're playing effectively with
6 batters.
Exactly. It just reduces your batting. And the whole idea of playing all-rounders in them is that you get at least one good innings cumulatively in a test match. That's what you need those two for. This time around you didn't get it. Chennai, we got extremely lucky. We got one each.
Plus a bowling attack.
Yes, cumulatively 2 innings, you didn't get anything from the two of them with the bat.
I mean, this test match, if you have to look at it, it's been a horror one for both Ashwin and Jadeja. When was the last time both had a very horrible test? Because if you look at it, Jaddu managed only 5 runs. If you look at the wickets, he didn't take any in the second innings. He got, I think, probably 3 wickets, if I'm not mistaken. In the New Zealand innings. Yeah, he got 3 wickets. Ashwin had a terrible test match. 15 runs and only 1 wicket. That too of Conway blundered and he threw his wicket away with that reverse sweep.
No, it was a conventional sweep.
No, reverse. He tried the reverse. Reverse on 91. Who does that?
Reverse on 91. You're right.
So
reverse on 91. Yeah.
Combined only 4 wickets from your ace match winners and just a total of 20 runs from your 2. This is a very bad test match for your match-winning spinning duo. Kuldeep looked good. He was the most assured in both the innings as a batter. Bumrah had an off day in the first innings, but then he was a cheat code. He was still troubling them so much. Second innings, he was like unplayable.
You know, the second innings, the way that he started things yesterday and this morning as well. I know we saw all of 4 deliveries from him yesterday, but those 4 deliveries were spot on. There was there's an LBW chance missed for India that time. You needed that after a team gets bowled out for 46. That's the kind of start you need. Unfortunate, and I know I wasn't with you guys, but I was just discussing with somebody that this is the kind of start that he made to the second innings is exactly what you needed from Bumrah in the first, but you can't really hold it against him. He is your cheat code that works 9 times out of 10. So he will be allowed the one time, and it's not like he went awry or he was abysmal. Those 2 words probably will never be used for a Jasprit Bumrah, but he wasn't lethal. You needed the lethal Jasprit Bumrah that we saw this time.
I have to really clean my ears now because I'm saying Bumrah was not lethal. When have we said that in the last time?
But he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He
wasn't. In the first innings, he looked slightly jaded, but
the rhythm wasn't there.
Yeah. But here, imagine if a 200 plus partnership was there. Bumrah bowling full tilt because New Zealand knew they just had to survive 8-9 overs of Bumrah, one spell. And then the rest of the bowlers, because the wicket was such and the target was so little, they just went merry. When Jadeja came, 2 4s, that's it. The game totally changed and New Zealand just went gung-ho. Kuldeep was hit for a 6 and that's where Will Young's composure was so good to see. So yeah,
typical textbook cricket.
Will Young was much better today than we saw in the first.
Yes, 33 and 45. But for me, the star is Rachin. Rachin Ravindra's onslaught. It was a special 100 with Tim Southee that he played at that point. That partnership took India away. And yes, contrasted with impact. Pant and Sarfaraz's partnership gave India a flicker of hope. But then after that, when they 2 fell, Pant example, 7th time he's fallen in the 90s.
Yes.
Imagine, had he converted all those.
That's the third most by an Indian batter, by
Yeah.
the way. There's Sachin Tendulkar with 10,
And Rahul Dravid.
with 9.
9.
And then there's Rishabh Pant.
Rishabh
at
Pant
7.
with 7. And they played over 100, 200 innings. This guy's got to 62 innings. That is Rishabh Pant for you. But then see, now India are facing with a double whammy. This test match is done, but unfortunately, your next turnaround is only 3 days later.
Yes.
24th.
Start
You
from
begin on
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Yes. Now, gentlemen, I'll throw the floor open. Rishabh Pant.
One more thing, Siddharth. Also, this happens to be the second defeat at home now this year.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Last
After
time that
England.
happened was 2012.
Hyderabad. No.
No, second defeat this
This
year.
year.
Yeah,
Hyderabad
last
was the first
time
So
one.
you're saying
in
two
a
defeats
season.
in a year.
Yes, yes. That was in 2012 when they lost both to England.
But
then,
what happened the last time that we lost the first test match of a series?
Then you won 4-1. Even here, India can make a comeback. There's no
believe
denying.
so too.
Yeah.
India will make a comeback. There is no doubt about it. And it's happened in 2017 at home. It happened in 2021. It happened in 2024.
But now you're tempted to think, because everything is being looked at through the lens of the WTC points
Exactly.
table, what if there's a draw and a win for India over here? Then the BGT
Makes things
scale
So,
very difficult.
you can check out the video.
Yeah.
What happens if a draw or a loss at home hurts India? Big way. Because if you draw in Pune and you win in Mumbai, let's assume.
Yeah.
Even if you don't win the series here, your PCT will dip to 65.
Yeah.
Okay. You've already lost 6 percentage points. It's gone to 68 or 74. If you don't win 2 tests in Australia, after this,
They can watch the video. You can give
You
a
can watch.
teaser. Yeah.
then you've got a major problem. Even if you don't win 2 tests in the BGT, check out
In
that
short,
video.
you might have to win multiple test matches in Australia
Yes.
if Pune or either Pune or Mumbai is a draw and you win the remaining one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then imagine now, if you want to secure yourself, a draw is not necessary. You have to win all.
Exactly.
You will have to win all, and that is why now you're on a knife edge. Look at how in this cycle each team's home performance has hurt them.
Yeah.
Australia are in this position for 2 reasons. One, look at the points deduction 10. But they lost Gaba to the West Indies.
Yes. Shamar Joseph.
Shamar Joseph. Whichever team has lost at home this time, they have been really bad.
Look at
And
England.
whatever predictions that are being made in this possible place for a WTC final, they are being made on specific assumptions also that teams do not lose any more points, as far as the slow over rate deductions are concerned. So whatever, scenarios that we do, they are made on a lot of predictions because they can never be 100% apt.
Now, this is a boost for New Zealand and South Africa.
But New Zealand are in a must-win situation, and that's the teaser that we can leave you with.
Exactly. Sri Lanka are facing 2 tough assignments now.
Yes.
They are left
South Africa away.
and Australia home. So, no team is guaranteed qualification.
Prabhat Jasuria will be licking his lips.
Yes.
But playing at goal again.
Yes, all the matches are in goal. He's the legend of goal, Prabhat Jasuria. If there is a statue that has to be made after Rangana Herath, he should be there in that. He gets wickets in goal like it's a local playground. Na? I'll get
No,
wickets here.
Australia do have one more, who should have been built a statue at MCG.
Scott
Boland.
Boland. Yeah. So this is why now the 2 things that I want to throw, because in the broader context of WTC and BGT.
Yeah.
When are you resting Bumrah? Are you resting him or no? Gentlemen, the floor is open. Tough one, isn't it?
It's a really tough one because I remember saying that 1 out of 3 matches against New Zealand, you will have to be resting Bumrah, and I remember saying this at the before the start of the home season, so even prior to the Bangladesh series. But now that you're trailing in this series, I wonder when this can happen now.
Because the turnaround time for all the tests isn't great. Only 3 days later you are playing in Pune, then 3 days later 1.
Yeah.
So, are you resting Bumrah?
I'm going to take a big call here. I'm going to rest Bumrah for the Pune test. And he's going to be back for Mumbai. And I'll tell you why. See, even against England also, when you lost in Hyderabad, you did play Bumrah the second test, but then he was rested for the third test and being brought back for the fourth and fifth. So obviously there was some gap between the third and the fourth test there, and that's why he was rested. just to make sure that he is fit and in 100% rhythm, and there are not even minor niggle concerns also. I'm going to take this punt of resting Jasprit Bumrah and bringing back Akashdeep.
So why I want to play Bumrah is provide the medical team permits him to play. Why I'd be tempted to play him is because if I lose by chance, then the series is gone for me.
Yeah.
To be in the contest, to be in the series, I need my best bowler to be there. So if Jasprit Bumrah, I go ask him, if you're feeling fine, I'll check for his medical reports as well. If the team suggests, yes, his body can take one more test match, I play him.
Okay.
I am not resting Bumrah. Now with the situation you are in, you are taking a big risk.
डर का माहौल है.
डर का माहौल है भाई. Now if India don't win or draw the Pune test,
Approach cannot be casual.
casual नहीं हो सकता है, because I am taking a big risk.
Yeah.
Casual. Now the unfortunate thing is there is very little time, because after the New Zealand test ends, 17 days later you are heading to Australia. You are in Perth on 22, November 22.
And before that also,
2017. See,
17 days back gap for test matches.
Exactly.
You've
You'll
got
be there at least 10 days before.
10 days prior, you have got an intra-squad game.
Yes.
But then, how are you going to rest him? It's going to be a big call. If they rest him, yes, Shivam?
I also want to be Bumrah in my team for the second.
For the second test.
But I want to be Siraj as a.
Resting.
Akashdeep for Siraj. Okay.
Akashdeep for Siraj.
Siraj continues to have a bad run, by the way.
He needs a break.
DSP sahab must.
DSP needs to be off duty.
DSP, Mohammad, Vivian, Richards, Siraj.
Today he was Mohammad
Holding. No.
Today Mohammad Holding.
Yeah.
And today he was Mohammad Rhodes also, because he was diving around.
He was diving. Yeah, he had a great stop at
Fine
third
leg.
man. Fine leg. No, third man. No?
Great athlete, and
Fine
we
leg,
know that. Remember that catch that he took. I know he made things difficult for himself, but the way he
Oh yes, that was a
Left-footed.
superb catch. Yeah, but then he is not been in good form. So it's a mixed debate. There is no easy answer to whether Bumrah should be rested or not. But then if you win the series, can he last 5 tests in Australia? Because you'll need him in Perth, you'll need him in Adelaide, you'll need him in Gabba, where those 3 are the most, you may say, pace friendly of all the wickets. Melbourne might be a bit slow, but he's got a great record in Melbourne.
Melbourne, so he is playing. He is telling the team that, listen, Melbourne, I'm playing rest, you see. Sydney could be rested.
Could be, but then if India have to
the
win,
last, exactly. It's
so
the
that is why this has thrown the entire team planning and situation awry. So mixed on Bumrah, there is no fixed thing whether he should be rested or not. It's a split house. As far as, before we take questions, Rishabh Pant, do you see him playing? Because he was walking very gingerly with that knee.
I don't mind playing Rishabh Pant as a batter also. Dhruv Jurel can come in as a keeper batter. For me, Rishabh Pant plays because he is more valuable to me as a batter than a wicket keeper. I am going to play him. I have to play him. Even a 70%
Then
fit.
Pant is a number 3 then.
But can you really do that?
Yeah. How will you fit both of them in the team?
Yes.
See, at
Also,
yesterday,
you can't just say that, okay, this is an injury he's carrying since last time, so he bats, but somebody else does.
see, yesterday there was a discussion that who would you keep in your lineup then, Sarfaraz or KL Rahul? I was in the favor of continuing with Sarfaraz and dropping KL Rahul. It's going to be harsh on KL Rahul though, but then how do you tell a guy as to how, you made 150 but still we have to leave you out? So my decision was to persist with Sarfaraz. They all said that, let's go with KL Rahul. But now, if I have to say that if Pant is fit to bat, but he cannot really keep his knee maybe cannot take the load of keeping maybe for another couple of test matches, I'm going to go with Jurel and have Pant at 5. You still play Pant at 5 and he can field in slips. That's how you minimize his workload, his fielding workload.
Then
So
Sarfaraz goes to 3. Sarfaraz goes to 3.
Shubman Gill returns and Sarfaraz unfortunately has to miss out. And same goes the case with the Sarfaraz.
What if Shubman's not fit then?
Okay, so let's take 2 scenarios here. If Shubman Gill is fit, then Jaiswal, Rohit, Gill, Kohli, Pant and Jurel. If Shubman is fit. But if Shubman is not fit, then you have Kohli at 3 only, Sarfaraz at 4, Pant at 5 and Jurel at 6. Because to me, even a 70% fit Pant has to play. He really has to play.
Harshad?
I'll have to think about it. I don't have an answer at the moment because Firstly, I want to know from the team as to where his injury is right now. Does it look like a case where in 3 days he'll be able to recover? But am I playing a half-fit Rishabh Pant? I think I am.
See, a lot of players previously in Test cricket have managed their injuries. They haven't been 100%, but they have still gone on to play that test by fielding in slips or at fine leg or
I
third
agree.
man. And that's where I think
My
that's how
only
you can
thinking over
be
here,
smart with
Siddharth,
Pant.
is that while I'm tempted, I know it's a good hunting ground, Australia, for him. It's a high-profile series. You want Rishabh Pant to be there. However, my priority in the grander scheme of things has to be to pick the most points at home.
Yeah.
And when do I get that? When I play a Jasprit Bumrah, when I play a Rishabh Pant. These are my aces. These are aces up my sleeve. So I have to be playing my best players at home because things may change. I don't know what happens in Australia. Yes, they may turn out to be match winners. They may not turn out to be match winners. It's just hard conditions over there. So I don't want there to be a situation where I don't play my best players who are half fit also for that matter. But expect fully fit these best players to be fully fit and bring me results over there. They very well can, but you're talking about Australia and you're expecting a pushback from them this time. So don't know. My best chance has to be to maximize my points at home.
Okay.
I would say if you play a half-fit Pant in both Pune and Mumbai, looking at it because you only have a break of 7 days combined in between both the tests, okay, you are risking aggravating his injury even further, okay, because as you pointed out, a knee surgery, and if you get an injury on the same knee, the chances are it will get aggravated even further.
And your knee will never be 100% when you
Exactly.
have a ligament surgery.
I would say rest Pant for the 2 games.
Okay.
Get in Jurel, okay, because they did well even without Pant against England. So get him there. Keep Pant for the BGT. He is your X factor there, boss. If Pant doesn't play in even 1 or 2 tests in the BGT, then India's chances take a massive hit. Pant has to play in all the 5 tests. We are sweating whether Bumrah will play all 5 tests. Because 22 to 26, there is then a gap of 6 to 10. There is 6 to 10 is the Adelaide ping ball test, but there also you're playing a Prime Minister's 11 in Canberra. Yeah. Okay, Bumrah may not play that. So, okay, then 14th to 18th is the 3rd test at Brisbane. 26 to 30 is Boxing Day. 3 to 7 is Sydney.
It's a good option, Siddharth, which you present. It's a good option because why do you have Jurel for them?
Exactly.
This is the time to test your bench strength.
Jurel as a batter
option.
is also quite solid. He will not be audacious like Rishabh Pant. He not hit those slog
He
swings.
need not be as well.
But he did well in that England series. So that is why prepare him for the 2 tests. Pant should be rested in cotton wool on his knee when you look at it. If he's fit, BGT, you need him for our 5 tests. So let's take a couple of comments that are there. Daniel M is saying Kiwis are poor spin players. So should we prepare rank turners? But will it make India complacent for BGT? Because Kiwis are far better than England.
Need to make sporting pitches, something that we have seen in both Chennai, Kanpur and Bengaluru.
But Daniel M, the problem, you know, Kiwis are poor spin players. Our Indian players are also now poor players of spin. You saw in those rank turners how their batting averages took a big hit and they were not confident. Now you prepare rank turners for 2 because of desperation. Suddenly you encounter
You don't have
sporting
to
wickets
prepare
in-
rank turners. You prepare what you prepared for England.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what you need.
That's what you need. Sharan Vinakota saying to both the Sids regarding the WTC final scenarios, what happens to India if this series and BGT, both the series gets drawn?
Like when you are saying drawn, see in case of New Zealand, we still understand that it can
could be 1-1.
It could be a 1-1, but in BGT it could be 1-1 or 2-2 also for
Yeah.
that matter. So I think in case of India, one of the scenarios that Siddharth has already said that you need at least 3 wins and a draw to make sure that you are in top spot as far as a possible place in the WTC final is concerned, and that's also assuming that you do not lose any more. There aren't any more over at deductions, but then all of this is just based on possibilities. So in case of both series drawn, we get about New Zealand, but in case of BGT, what's your criteria here? 1-1 or 2-2?
They can't afford any.
Actually,
Simple answer. Check that video out. I've given all the scenarios. They can't afford that. Okay, Danush is saying if players really picked on performance and not favoritism, then this should be last test match for a certain Indian player. He's not named and has 50
But we
tests.
can read out the description. It's
Yeah.
his thing. He says
For
that
worst Indian player has played 50 plus tests and 33
You know, I
average.
refuse to agree with that worst Indian player because he has been one of your primary reasons why you have won some of your test matches in overseas. Agreed that he hasn't been consistent at home, but we also have to look at that the management has been very unfair on KL Rahul on most of the occasions. His batting position has changed multiple times from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now he's finally got a spot at 6. It's kind of, you know, a happy headache that India have that Sarfaraz Khan has scored 150 and he might still be left out for the second test. But then if you decide to play Sarfaraz there, then this time I'm not going to say that the management is going to be you know, harsh on KL Rahul because Sarfaraz has done more than enough this year ever since his debut to secure a place in India 11.
I think he's right. It's just that again you're fighting. There's a bit of a slugfest in that middle order right now. But if you're making choices after a 150, you don't set anyone down.
Yeah.
You did that. I know last year where there's people who scored a double hundred and you dropped them in another format. Triple hundred has also happened not too long. Yeah, it's actually it's a long time back now. Triple hundred. But anyhow, you made those decisions in the past. But right now, because Sarfaraz, remember, he really had to. He wasn't knocking on the door for the last couple of days. He ultimately had to break the door down.
Yeah. But again, see, KL Rahul is the easiest fruit to be broken. There's low hanging fruit. Whenever a player has come, KL Rahul's been dropped.
That's what someone mentioned
Yes.
yesterday. Yeah.
Whenever a player has come, KL Rahul's been dropped. Okay. It's like you see that scene in Tare Zameen Par, na? That scrapbook where you keep on flipping the pages, that guy goes away, and then he's gone. Same thing is happening with KL Rahul. He's in number 1, but he went, and he's gone. So that is the situation.
Rakesh Bhushan has a comment that if Sarfaraz is dropped and loses confidence like Karun Nair, Manoj Tiwari, Kishan, who all were dropped in the next test match after scoring big, KL is averaging 35 after 50 test matches. On what basis he deserves a chance?
Well, check that video, check our live that we did prior to this year. You'll get the answer. Rakesh Bhushan, Rohit read the pitch wrong. He allowed New Zealand to score 400 plus after being down 7 wickets. His bowling changes was huge question mark. He does not preempt like MSD. He waits for things going out of control.
No,
But
I think he's proactive.
today he was, in this test he was clueless. I don't know what happened to Rohit Sharma.
He's on most days a proactive captain. I don't think he's one of those who sits back, takes his time. I think proactiveness isn't in question.
It isn't, but then see,
Judgments in this match can be up for debate.
yeah.
But otherwise,
Yeah.
Sharan
Yeah, he
Vinakota
is right. Bumrah was rested for the fourth test. Yeah.
He was rested for that. So I guess that's about it. So this test match has ended in fit monk. I wish Rachin's forefathers never migrated to New Zealand. Damn, we lost a potential goat. Well,
Average of close to 100 now at Chinnaswamy Stadium.
yeah, exactly.
Across formats.
Yep, indeed. So
that should be it. Have we told our viewers that we are returning in the evening?
yes, join us for the dugout, which will happen at 6:15. Lots and lots of things to discuss about it. So. Yeah, everybody will be here. Harshit, Nikhil, me, Gulati, all will be here. It's going to be a very interesting situation.
It's dissection day.
Dissection day, yes. We become surgeons on this day. So, oh, happy birthday, Austin. Yeah, Austin Kuna saying, Sid sir, it's my birthday today. A shout out, please. Yes.
Sad India lost.
Happy birthday. Sad that he's a very passionate India cricket fan, Virat Kohli fan, RCB fan. So, happy birthday, Austin, and may you enjoy your day. I know you won't enjoy it much because India lost. You did have hope. He was the only one having that hope even today.
After GGK.
And you lost in Chinnaswamy. Yeah, GGK has gone missing.
Yeah.
Whenever this happens, GGK goes missing, but it's okay. They are all Indian cricket fans.
So the Indian captain's up, he's come up for the press conference. We'll bring you thoughts of the Indian captain, both after the match got over and now. Let's see what are his thoughts. How does he dwell on this India loss? First loss for India against New Zealand at home since 1988. Second loss for India at home this year. the WTC points table gets more interesting. In
Yep.
3 days' time, we have the start of the second test match. But we meet you in the evening for a
Dugout.
proper post-mortem of India's defeat in Bangalore against New Zealand.
New Zealand.
From everyone here
Bye-bye.
in the Sports Today studio, including our dear producer Shivam, who is itching to press the end button. It's goodbye from all of us.
Bye-bye.
6:15.
6:15. Join us at 6:15 for the dugout.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, don't forget to
हो गया
subscribe.
यार
also.
वो पीछे मुड़ के ही चलो करो